I could be Sancho. I could be Tommy. I could be anyone. Right. So that's kind of what.
Can we have Sancho on the podcast?
Why? I mean, Sancho is.
What is that?
Sancho's crazy.
Explain your Sancho routine for those who don't know. You can't.
No, we don't have time. We don't have that much time today.
I mean, I don't want to do it, guys. All right, guys. So if you're at a social gathering and you want to try this routine out, I think it's really cool.
Okay, so there we go. Albert's looking spiffy with your new gray sweater. What I want this episode to really be about, I want to talk about, is something that I think our viewers would appreciate a lot, and that is all of our origin stories. Because I just came out of Black Adam. I just saw this movie. I'm a big superhero buff, and I think origin stories are so cool and so fun, and we each have very different, unique ones. Let's start with you, Kosmo. I mean, how did you even get into this? I feel like nobody knows your origin story. I feel like it's not documented very
I feel like everyone knows my origin story. What are you talking about? I was on a national TV show for a whole year.
It's not big enough.
Where we had 7 million people a week watching.
This guy's a walking Wikipedia. His whole life's an origin story.
But that was fake. Come on. You were a hired actor.
Great way to start the fucking show, Jared.
Yeah.
So I talked to our producer, Brent, before this to plan this out, but check this out. Right. I found it as I was cleaning my house today. How freaking cool is that?
Oh, man.
Dude, how cool is that, bro?
Jared, for the viewers, what is this?
So, Kosmo, you explain. This is you earned this.
So I did a reality show on VH1 called The Pickup Artist in 2008. I won $50,000 for the first time in my life. I had more than $100 in my bank account. And then they gave us this medal. This was the winner thing. And for every single day for a full year, I'm exaggerating because I'm Cuban, 3, 4, 5 days a week, I would wear this for a whole year. This was my good luck charm. And I haven't really seen that in about 2 years. I thought I lost it. And today when I was cleaning, I saw it. And you know what? It gave me instant flashbacks. I was like, whoa. And it did something weird to my body, to my penis, to my brain, to all of the above.
That's what I'm wearing my penis right now. Are you wearing it tonight?
I was going to ask you guys,
yes,
should I wear it tonight?
I think we got to bring the energy. God. I think you got to wear it tonight. Tulum hat with the medallion.
This is, as a guy who once was a pickup dork, a fanboy of the pickup celebrities, this is so fucking cool. This is holding almost like a World Series trophy or Super Bowl ring. That's super cool.
Kosmo energy. My big head will allow it. There we go. I got 2 necklaces.
I mean, if you want to feel my energy, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So, all right. So you're on a show. For those who don't know, let's really get into it, because you weren't always this charismatic guy with women. Even though a lot of people think you were previous to the show, even me included. I mean, there was some back talk in this whole community of, he was an actor, he clearly knew what he was doing, it was fake, yada yada. But give us the lowdown.
You know how many actors I know on the planet right now? You know how many actors that are my friends that have absolutely no game, can't talk to women? I can't believe people assume because I was an actor that you can talk to women. A lot of actors actually get into acting because they want to hide, they're insecure, all of the above, including myself, right? That was an outlet for me not to be Alvero Orlando. I could be Sancho. I could be Tommy. I could be anyone. Right. So that's kind of what.
Can we have Sancho on the podcast?
Why? I mean, Sancho is.
What is that?
Sancho's crazy.
Explain your Sancho routine for those who don't know. You can't.
No, we don't have time. We don't have that much time today.
I mean, I don't want to do it, guys. All right, guys. So if you're at a social gathering and you want to try this routine out, I think it's really cool. So I don't walk up to women, but once I have them having fun and they trust me and we're just vibing, I tell them, oh, by the way, meet my 2 friends. This is going to sound so weird to people watching. This is Henry.
That's correct.
And this is Sancho. So whatever they do, I'm not responsible. So I'm Kosmo, but this is Henry and this is Sancho. And Henry really likes you. So Henry, stop.
And for those listening, Sancho is his hand right now grabbing me. And I'm kind of into it.
That's Henry's hand.
Sorry, that's Henry.
Sorry.
Sancho doesn't find you attractive. He's over here.
Yeah.
Fuck Sancho. Oh my God. All right.
But no, that's just a little routine that I do. I'm gonna try it tonight. Let's see what happens.
We gotta do this tonight, Albert. Please.
We're gonna try something.
We're all gonna do a Sancho.
So I'm from a place where if you were friendly, you got made fun of, and a derogatory word. If you wanted to insult someone, you would say friendly. So instead of saying MF, mother, beep, beep, you would say, you friendly ass mother, beeper, right? So I don't know what the beeper was about.
I'll say we can curse on this podcast, Brian. We can,
I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we can curse. So instead of saying motherfucker, you would say, you friendly ass motherfucker. The other person would say, what you call me? It's like, friendly ass motherfucker. What? And you would get insulted. So I grew up on not being friendly. You have to be the guy that doesn't talk to anyone, and you let women walk up to you. If you want to make a guy friend, don't talk to a guy. Like, that shit is gay. Like, why would you do that? So I grew up like that. And it was a manifestation of me having massive social anxiety, the Latino Cuban bravado.
Yeah, Cosmo. I got a question on that. Do you feel, Cosmo, I'm Cuban, Cosmo's Cuban. Do you feel like coming up and as a teenager and a young person who didn't have inherent social skills, right? Do you feel like there was an added level of pressure or scrutiny for you as a Latino man who didn't have that it? Do you know what I mean?
I love that you just said that, because I felt like if I was 275 pounds and had a lot of acne and was like a really ugly guy,
I'm sitting
it
right
would
here,
make
dude.
well, bro, you're not 275 pounds. You're at least like 290 pounds.
Yeah.
But so like, no, shout out to Jared. You lost a lot of weight. I love you. Actually lost 40 pounds in 1 month. So
Not
that's
1 month. No, I mean, it's been.
I'm trying to make you look extra good right now. Okay,
Yeah.
just roll with it. Yes,
You
I
kind
do.
of-
I do think that if you're really good question, Albert. If you're Latin or if you're a minority like Latin or black guy, good looking, women automatically assume that you have really good game. So if you don't, women are like, "What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Like, he's so weird." I do feel like I had a lot of pressure on me with absolutely no male role models in my life. My mom and dad never got married. They were barely together. I was like an accident, right? Like, they hooked up, they fucked, and then I was born, But so my dad didn't know what he was doing. My uncle is a Cuban guy where he has like a really bad relationship with his current wife right now. I didn't have like a male role model that's like, hey, this is how you have to do it. I just had my grandmother was my number one person in my life. She didn't know shit. So I had a lot of women growing up, a lot of girls growing up. They would come knocking on my door. Hey, Alvero está aquí. I want to get Valentine. Can you be my Valentine? Like, they would do the work because I was so full of ego and bravado and scared to get rejected and humiliated. So my whole life, I lied to everyone, and I would always say like, yeah, I have a girl coming here, or prom in high school. I'm like, yeah, I have to go to Boca Raton, which is like an hour north of Miami, to a prom, which was a lie. I was watching Sábado Gigante with my grandma.
Wow.
And so I didn't have the ability to be honest and to tell people, hey guys, does anyone here know, like in 7th grade, if I had a time machine, I would go back in 7th grade and ask all the kids, the boys that were really good with talking to girls, hey, how are you doing that? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you saying to get that girl to like you? I wish I would have done that. So till I was 19, 20 years old, my whole life was a lie. It was a lie. My whole life was a lie. That's crazy. And then, so I got cast on a show, and here we go. We got a 6'5". He's probably taller, right? Mystery? The guy who did the
He's
show?
6'5", but he looks 7 foot with the boots. And
So
half.
really tall guy, white guy from Canada with eyeliners, long, nail polish and all that. I'm from a very different place. I'm like, this guy's going to teach me how to talk to women. So I came in very paranoid and very defensive and aggressive. I'm like, this is not going to work. And, in the first episode, there was a guy named Fred. He was a 40-year-old virgin. A guy named Joe D was very, very, overweight, had a... what do you call it? Cocked-eyed? What do you call it?
Lazy eye.
Lazy eye.
Had a lazy eye. We had Pradeep, the Indian guy. Remember the Indian guy? And so it was me, like, whatever, not the worst looking guy ever, in shape, boxer, Latin guy. I was the only one in the first episode that couldn't walk up to a girl. And that showcased a lot that these guys had more courage and more cojones than I did, because at least they tried. And I try to...
Yeah, and that's a big thing too in our culture. And Latin culture, for me, I want to keep going on your thing, but I feel like there's that mindset, Cosmo, that it's, wait, what do you mean you're learning these skills? Like, you either have it or you don't, right? And like, how do you not have it? Like, it's not, it's not okay for Latin men to talk about their inadequacies, especially with things like that. Like it's a very macho culture of like, you're a man, bro. Like, what do you mean you have to go to class and learn pickup skills? Like, go out and fucking do it. Like, when I first started coaching, my dad and like his buddies were like, what do you do? That's not a thing. Everyone gets that out of thin air, right? So I think that you're right. Battling those insecurities from your background that's a huge factor, right? You know?
Yeah, we don't want to get that too much into Jewish culture. We're all kind of expected not to try. Like honestly, if I was on that show, every Jew would have been like, he made it in the club. he made eye contact. This guy's our god. Like, no, it's a little different.
The first time that piggybacking off what you're saying, Albert, the first time that I saw my uncle cry was when I was like 25, and he cried, and you know what he kept saying? Try to guess the word that he kept saying as he cried. Try to guess.
Spanish word? Had to be, right? No?
English. You know, Spanish people also talk English, right, Jared?
That's true.
I mean, unless they're really Spanish.
Fuck, man. Balls? I don't know. I got nothing.
No, come on, be serious, dude. Like, my uncle's crying. What do you think the word that he was saying over and over?
Proud?
Proud.
What do you think?
I'm drawing a blank, brother.
Go for it. Guess.
Amazed.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. The whole time he was crying, he kept apologizing. And I'm looking at him going, Theo, why are you apologizing? Like, what are you saying? I'm sorry. He's like, no, I'm crying and it's a weakness. I'm like, wow. Like, if I didn't get cast on that reality show, I would have his mindset. He was crying, saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. In our boot camps, right, we have vulnerable students. I empathize with them. I get teary-eyed. I start crying. I think seeing a man
it's not okay
cry,
to cry. So see, I've never seen.
I hate that.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the males in my family cry.
I hate that. If I feel like you should cry once a month and make yourself cry. It could be like a proud cry or vulnerable cry. I think letting that out is really, really good. So yeah, I got cast on a show once I saw Mystery, a tall, weird Canadian guy actually talking to women. There was an art form, a science, and then from there, my life changed forever. If you gave me $5 million right now and you said, I want you to go back to the old version of you, I would not be able to do it. I do feel like I died and I was reborn. I do feel that. I can't go back to the old version. And here's why I know that. When we're at the beach in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, I got pants by a girl. Jared made her do that. I had no reaction. You saw my reaction, right? I was like, okay, cool.
If anything, you were into it. You're just like, shit.
I just didn't care.
Please.
The old version of me was so insecure with that. I was like, oh, who saw me? What's going on? So the fact that I'm not scared to be embarrassed or humiliated was a big thing. Next thing is, I feel like true confidence is being secure with your insecurities. You guys see this burn right here that I have in my arm? I know you guys can't see it, but there's a burn on my left arm. Yeah. When I was 17 years old, I was really drunk and I challenged my cousin. We had 2 lighters and we're like, let's see who's more tough. So we kept the lighter burning. We were drinking and I just put it on my arm. He copped out real quick. Me being full of ego and bravado and all that, I kept it there. Oof. So it's never gone away, and I actually did plastic surgery on it to remove it. And why that happened was because throughout high school, I always had a wristband to hide it because I was so ashamed of it. Yeah. So when I had
Didn't you wear one on the show in the first episode?
I did.
Yeah.
I did because it was still attached to me. That was my trauma.
Wow.
Good observation, Albert. Fuck. Albert is so sharp. So you know what happened with the wristband, right? It never healed. So the scab would keep coming off. And the doctor's like, the dermatologist is like, that's why you're going to have that for life. The scab came out at least 20 times because I kept wearing a wristband. And after I get out of the show, I was able to show that. And I was like, oh my God, that was it. It wasn't about learning how to talk to women. It was about being secure with my insecurities. I got stabbed 2 years ago in the liver. I got a big old scar right on my liver. When we go to a pool party, when we go out, do you ever feel that I'm insecure about that? If I didn't have that transformation, I would be hiding it. I would have like a towel around
Maybe
there.
the hair spot on the back a little bit.
Even the hair spot on my back. We were hiking, and Jared made fun of me, which is what really good friends do, right? And he's like, "Hey, Kosmo, you have a big."
What do we call it, Brent? What's his hair spot's name? Harry Sancho.
Guys, that's so creepy. Let's stop that. Anyways, no, but yeah.
He's like, I'm shutting this down
Let
now.
me switch a subject real quick. But I feel like where my life did change for the better, and whatever, I'll say it.
And on
I feel
that note, I mean, you said like $5 million. I really don't think I was just thinking while you were talking, for $1 billion.
A billion.
Literally. I'm not even joking. I think if someone's like, here's $1 billion, go back to old Jared who knows nothing about this, who would like remove what I know about game and social dynamics and not let me find it again, I would say no. I'm not joking.
What a trigger. Think about that, Jared. Think about that concept, because I've never thought about it like that. And I saw you look at me. You probably never thought about that. Like assigning a dollar amount to take away all of the progress, like development, learning. I don't think the dollars by themselves are worth it. I really don't.
I mean, this is one of my business mentors would say, which is money only solves money problems.
Right.
How many rich clients do we have? I mean,
Right.
Like how many rich clients do we have that they thought that once they make $2-3 million a year that it would be over? Now they're paying us money to learn how to be social and calibrated with women. I mean, we have a lot of clients like
financially rich who are like lifestyle and quality of life poor, right? They're empty, they're hurting, they feel inadequate, and on the surface they should feel great, right? Yeah. Theoretically, but they don't.
I told my business mentor this. I told him straight up, I've had 2 amazing transformations in my life. One of them has been, learning game, learning pickup, getting good with women and friends and people. And the other one has been financial. I came from a place where I remember walking down the street, and when I was living in San Diego and looking at a bum, I had $5,000 in my name and I was $30,000 in debt. 10 of which to this guy. I was $30,000 in debt, and I looked at this guy.
You owed Albert $30,000.
He was helping me out.
Brand, when Jared keeps looking left and right, is the audio good? Should we put the mic? Okay, cool. Yeah. All right.
So I remember thinking I'm in $30,000 of debt. I got like $5,000 in my name. I'm like 32 or whatever. I looked at a bum on the street and I go, this guy is worth more than me. This guy, technically, this bum is at a higher level in life more than I am right now.
Yeah.
So I've made 2 major transformations. One has been with money and been, gotten myself successful, not a billionaire, but gotten successful. The other one has been with game. And I told my business mentor, and I go, of the 2 transformations, the first one was more meaningful. What we have done, the whole getting good with people, whatever, means more to me than it did the financial transformation. And I really will not, I cannot, for $1 billion, I would not unlearn what I've learned on that point. It is just not worth it at that point.
Well, you're Brett and I were discussing this the other day. What are your most valuable resources on this planet? I would argue, other than health, which whatever, I think it's time, right? And it's knowledge.
Yeah.
If you have time and knowledge, you can accomplish anything. And money is just, the other day we were waiting for something, and he's like, Albert, you're very conscious on time, and because to me, my time is my most valuable thing, and my knowledge, right? My knowledge of how to execute. So that's a really interesting journey for you, man. And I think that, I don't know. Did you see that when you watch him, Jared? Did you see that anxiety on the screen from Kosmo?
Oh, yeah, but you don't. I mean, as a viewer, we don't know what's real and what's not. As before, I knew you, but reality TV was really reality.
Right.
When I'm watching it, I'm rooting for you. I remember it. I'm also kind of.
Who did you think was going to win the show? We never talked about this.
Yeah, early on. I wasn't really thinking about one way or another. Maybe the blonde guy. Who's the blonde guy?
Brady.
Maybe Brady.
No, Brady was AIDS. I hated Brady.
But you know who I
hated Brady.
You know who I was.
I like Joe D more than I like Brady. I did.
Modern Flirting podcast,
sponsored
by the AIDS donation. Thank you for that.
I call a spade, man.
I love it, dude.
You know who I was rooting for? No disrespect to you. You know who I was rooting for?
Joe D.
Of course.
A lot of people were.
Yeah.
A lot of people were rooting for Joe D. 2 quick things. When I got on the show, the coolest things that I did that I'm like, oh God, when people watch the show, they're gonna love me, are where I got my hate mail. They're like, when you did that, you were too braggy when I did that. All the things that I begged a producer, I'm like, can you take that out? Me crying and snot coming out of my nose, me trying to get the cameras out of the room and just breaking down. I'm like, people are going to make fun of me. Or when people approached me and were like, thank you so much for that. Isn't it weird? The things that I thought, oh my God, people are going to love me for that. They made fun of me for that.
As a viewer, that's when I connected with you the most, because I remember what it was like going through this and learning, and that's when I'm like, he gets me.
I see.
Because for me learning it, I'm like, it was hard. I cried. It was tough. And then when I watched you in a show, I'm like, he gets it. That's what I went through. That may be a little bit different than a person who's never gone through it before, but I'm like, that's what made me fall in love with you on the show. Cause I'm like, finally, this guy knows what it's like. He's not just hiding it, or unless you're the most insane actor of all time, which you are. But
I am.
You are. But I at the time, I'm just like, all right, he gets what it's like going through this, because at that point, I was already kind of advanced and I was getting through it. But yeah, I mean, I see why, because it's relatable. Relatable.
And for those of you that never seen a show, it's called Pickup Artists on VH1. After the show came out, and then I want to go to you, Albert, on how you got started with your journey. I'm really curious. But after the show, for about 7 years of my life, I was so embarrassed about it, because I started to meet the people in this community, and I did not like them. I was like, these people are not authentic. They're not real. They're fake. Even like if I was with the pickup artists back in the days, it'd be like, oh, how does Jared have his left knee? I'll have to calibrate because he's more alpha. I'm like, I don't like hanging out with people like that. I'm like, I just want you to be my friend, right? So Jared, for a year and a half, stalked me on Facebook. I was like, hey, be down to like get a drink. Are you in? Let me know when you're in Florida. Can I do a podcast with you? I ignored him for so long because I'm like,
but he's gonna gamed the shit out of him.
He did.
I got him in bed with me, and I.
Let's not tell the viewers that so quick. But
Can I call one thing here, guys? Can I call an audible here? Because I feel like there's so much here. We just got the tip of the iceberg. Can we just do this as a Kosmo origin episode? Because there's so I have like.
But I want to get on here.
And then we'll do one for me after.
All right.
We'll do another day for
the Kosmo episode.
Can we go all in? Are you guys okay all in on Kosmo?
Brandon, are you good?
All right, we're all in on Kosmo.
Because I feel like this guy has so much more to give us. I have a question about that.
My episode's like 10 minutes. It's like,
yeah, we don't care about your shit. The walkathon, right, cool. We get it. Cosmo, I have a question.
If you want to leave right now, me and Albert can just
we're having a moment here.
Yeah. All right, see you later.
No, Cosmo, this is a serious question that I have because I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I always thought about that. It's funny how I told you I idolized you. I idolized Mystery. I idolized Matador. I idolized Neil Strauss.
I idolized J-Dog.
I didn't give.
How come nobody liked J-Dog?
Honestly, I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a shit. Didn't give a shit about J-Dog.
Yeah, no one gave a shit about J-Dog.
But why do you think that happened?
Nothing
Stupid
about
hair.
Okay, two
He's
things.
got that face you just want to punch.
Okay, listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's just this face.
There's two big things in this that are important, I think. Can I relate with you, or do I want to be like you? Right? Or take things from you. J-Dog was neither of those. I couldn't relate with him, and I didn't really want to be like him. That's why I didn't like him. But here's my thing. I had these idols. And then like as I got into the industry and I learned more about it, you see the dark side of it, right? And like how some of these people aren't really as cool as they seem, or as like, are they really like socially empty inside? Do you feel like the early day, because you were part of the early days of the pickup artist world, pickup community, do you feel like
third generation?
There's a little bit of a disconnect there with dealing with, I say this a lot when I coach, I'm like, be a human, like you're a person. Like there's the robotic aspect to it a little bit. Did you feel like you had to overcome that in the early days?
I love that question. I really feel that once I started to hang out with my mentors at the time, Mystery Matador, that the more I hung out with them, the more I was like, and we were talking about this today, right, Brent? Like the fact that like they had no other life but this.
Right.
And I started to quickly realize I don't want to be like this. This is not where I want to be.
Thank God.
I really do like to, I go out at night, I party, I like to talk to women, I like to make really cool guy friends, but I also like to go boxing, I like to go do other things. I don't want to constantly be talking about picking up girls and having game, like that exhausts me at some point. They never got out of that. And I do really feel that Mystery is stuck in a video game where he cannot snap out back to Eric. Like I'm Kosmo is my alter ego, but I'm Alvero. Like Alvero is the normal me. I'm pretty quirky, not introverted, but what is that other word when you not introverted, but Oh God, it's supposed to be smart, and I can't do this. When you think a lot, when you analyze things, introspective.
Yeah,
I really am.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. I'm really introspective. As Cosmo, like I cannot afford that. My alter ego. I have to be quick on taking action. All of the above. But as Alvaro, like dude, I go to acting class. I box a lot. I fight. I love to spar. Do all that. They didn't have a balance, and that they quickly taught me that you have to have a balance because this world is by far, I think, not darker than Hollywood when you get famous. I think that's the darkest world, and all that stuff. But I think this is like one of the most darkest subcultures we have on the planet is the dating coach kind of pickup artist thing. There's a lot of darkness.
Yeah, Jerry, you've seen so many guys in the field that I feel like I didn't know that. Like you were more... I work for a smaller company. You work with some bigger companies at the early days.
I've been passed around like a peace pipe in this fucking industry.
You've been all over. You've been all over, and I didn't get that till later on. I always thought like, oh, it's so cool to learn this because I'm a super rational, introspective guy also, and I'm like, what can go wrong from learning these skills? And then you realize when you do go a little bit into the dark side, you lose emotion, you lose relatability, you start gaming people in ways you don't want to do that. Relationships, I've opened up.
Could you imagine like being that kind of guy who just goes out every night and doesn't come home? He stays out till like 5 a.m. almost every night. Doesn't wake up till like 1 or 2 p.m.
There we go.
And then feels like he just needs to drink constantly.
Here we go.
And then go out again the next night. Like
can't relate at all.
What kind of lifestyle?
Can't relate at all.
Right? Like you wouldn't.
Hey, listen, it's I'm built different, and I will say that what Cosmo said puts it perfectly. Any one of us can get trapped in the video game, and it's hard to leave the arcade because it's fun to eat the fucking cherry.
Can I ask you a personal question?
For sure.
Because I think the big thing with all three of us is very big authenticity. Do you do that a lot? Because obviously Jared is making fun of Albert. It's kind of like what you're doing, or because you recently, and if you don't mind me going into it, gone through a breakup, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's part of the breakup?
Homelessness, job crisis.
Well, because last night I was like really thinking about it because we've been like coaching and doing all this for so many days and partying that I thought to myself when I got a text from you last night like, "Hey, Cos, how you feeling? You ready to go?" And I had a girl coming over my place, just nerd out, watch a movie, eat popcorn, cuddle with my dog Rambo, and I started thinking, but I kind of want to go out with Albert tonight, and I thought, this guy is a fucking machine.
Yeah.
And I thought, as I was cuddling with the girl, I'm like, is this breakup? What do you feel about that? Or did I just go too deep?
No. I love the question. And I think, kind of round out, Kaz, here's how I arrived there. And tell me if this relates to you guys, because to me, it's like, I feel like there's different seasons in your life, right? And I feel like you had your season when you were on the reality show, and that was your awakening. Like you said, the old you died, the new you was born. Jared had the same thing as through his progression. And I think there's times where you have to like put more of your eggs in certain baskets. Like you talk about your balance. I think balance is huge. We all need balance. I think that for me in my personal journey, I've gone times where like when I started learning pickup in its old form, I was going out 6 nights a week. That was my life.
There was a time where you couldn't keep us in the house.
We literally couldn't. The only night I took off was Tuesday because it was nothing, like it was before Taco Tuesday. That's how old school I am. Like I was going out before Taco Tuesday was a thing.
For those who don't know, Albert and I would rage on a Wednesday to get the blue martini.
We did it all,
we would
brother.
Sneak sometimes past the fucking go because we couldn't afford to get in. So we'd go over the red velvet ropes. Like you could not keep us.
You couldn't stop us. And then life happens, right? You grow up, you mature, you get in relationships, things happen. For me, my focus now at 37 years old is, man, I look at the watch and I'm like, it all comes back to time, right? I'm like, time's finite.
Right.
I don't want to be the 55-year-old guy in the bar running cold approach pickup. So I know the way I look at my professional and personal life is like, I'm all in on these things now because the way I see it, and I don't want to put deadlines on myself. I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I think in 3 years, by the time I'm 40, if I'm not like almost retired with a family like starting, I did it wrong. So I'm like, I'm going to do the Gary V, which is one of Jarrett and I's. Gary Vaynerchuk is a big influence of mine. It's like the eat shit for 36 months, eat caviar the rest of your life. Like I'm going to go all in, test the limits of my body, my energy, anything in my business and like building social circle and succeeding in relationships to then establish myself. And from like 40 to 100, have a wife, kids, coach college baseball, donate my time, and just live life.
Wait. This is like therapy now from like me and Albert because
Yes.
like I just had a whole click realization for you. I'm so glad we do these podcasts because now I literally like
They say women go to therapy and men start
men
podcasts,
do
right?
podcasts.
Yes,
Fuck,
let's go.
fuck therapy. Everybody needs a Brent in their life, just like
Right.
force him to do a podcast, and like it makes it because holy shit, you like I've always known you understood you, but like this makes sense so much more to me because for me, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit, I'm like Albert's always going out, he's always having with fat cats. I feel like it's almost like a regression of like you're going back to, but it's not. It's I have more respect for you now because it's like the Grant Cardone book, Be Obsessed or Be Average.
Yeah.
And what, my whole thing is, look, the whole balance is great, but if you want to get amazing or good with anything, you have to be obsessed. And now I get you a little bit more to that level is the reason you're doing is you're obsessively like, I'm doing this shit. I'm going to eat shit and go pick up and go out and do cold approach and do whatever. I'm going to fucking grind to get the family, to get the lifestyle, to get that balance, but you have to be obsessed first. No one in the history of anyone has ever gotten success by being balanced. Balance is the reward.
It's the enemy of success too.
But for me, the only time you should ever have balance is when you've done it.
Right.
You've got like you can get the abs. You have to be obsessed with it. Right now, I'm obsessed with it. Well, maybe not drinking this truly right now, but I'm obsessed with this idea of like getting like fit and getting the body I want, and then I can be balanced by maintaining. You need to be obsessed to build a business to make the money you want, and then whenever you hit whatever you want to hit, now you can balance, right? If you, like when you get your ideal girl, you have to be obsessed to get the skills to go out to get the girl you want, and then when you have that girl and you're ready to settle down, now you get balanced. Balance is the fucking reward, but too many people use it as the contentment and being content. And being balanced, whatever, it is the
Huge
the opposite
enemy
of success.
for Kosmo. His background, right, in fighting, when you're training for a fight, right, the rigors of training for a fight, would you be able to live your life like that every day, like forever?
And even like,
Counterpunch.
like even not fighting, because I wouldn't consider myself like a fighter. Like I'm,
But let's say no, fighting,
I think fighting when I did that, but more acting.
right?
When I get a role and it's like a leading role or supporting role, I will disappear from the face of the planet. When I played Frankie, when I had to research autism and Asperger's syndrome, I gained 27 pounds for that role and didn't talk to any of my friends for a while. There's no way that I could have done a boot camp when I was doing Frankie. The whole part about autism, high functioning Asperger's syndrome, is they cannot catch social cues. Who am I? Someone who can catch social cues extremely quick. So I was obsessed with Frankie. I fell in love with that world of Asperger's syndrome. That you're right. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't hang out with my friends. I couldn't have happy hour. I was completely and utterly obsessed.
Right. And then you created a framework for your life in preparation for that. That's not sustainable long term. But guess what it was? It was a means to an end. What was the end? Executing your job as an actor in the role of Frankie. And that's what I'm trying to do. Right?
And best actor of Sundance Festival. I mean,
We did it. We did the Cannes Film Festival, the short film, and then Austin, like a bunch of film festivals.
You won a lot of awards for that. I mean, I hope you really have that gratitude.
Truly great film.
Good you were. I think that was like one of your. I've seen some of your stuff, and that was like one of your like masterpieces, honestly.
Yeah, and I well, thank you, man. Love you. Thank you so much. You know what happened was that there was a lot of pressure on me with the fact that I have so much love for the community of the autism community. Like I fell in love with them. And so I had like a pressure to do a really good job. Do you know what I mean? Like I really did. And even my boxing movie Counterpunch, it was a love letter to my grandmother telling her you're the best person ever. And it was a therapy, a release for me, putting my mom on blast saying, actually, you weren't the best human being and the best mom ever. So I'm going to put this on cinema and you deal with it. Like you take it as whatever you want to do. And I felt so good exposing myself. I'm like, hey guys, here's my life. And when Counterpunch came out with Danny Trejo, like I really battled with, should we put based on a true story? And the fact that I put based on a true story helped out so many people. I got so much like letters that people were on suicidal ideation, depression, all that. They're like, bro, did you really go through that? I'm like, yep. They're like, so I'm not that weird. I'm like,
Nope.
And the fact that they started to think, wait a minute, do a lot of people go through this? And I'm like, yep.
Wait, was this after or before the pickup artist?
Oh, no, it's after.
Way after. Okay.
Yeah, Counterpunch
2013, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is way after. Yeah.
So what I want to know here, let's rewind it because we're going into all.
Yeah, I had a question
I want to do
back
a little Tarantino rewind this shit. Let's go back to origin stories here because that's the topic of this episode. You do the show, right? The show's done. You've learned this stuff. How good were you at the wrapping of the show? How much more did you have to learn? At what point did you feel that you have become a master of the craft? Was it really when you had this medallion that I got wrapped around my neck right now? I might steal from you, or was it? When was it for you?
It was. I got good that quick.
At the end of the show, you felt like I'd mastered this.
Yep.
Wow.
At the end of the show, which was only 4 weeks, the fact that I was an actor.
Shut the fuck up. 1 month, and you're like.
1 month, I was that good.
Damn.
And I think being an actor, because when you're an actor, you have to, deliver lines that are very organic. So in 2008, we had, like a lot of lines and all that. So I had to deliver it organically. But I think it was a fire building inside of me that was there for so long that all of that inside, it was let out. And after 4 weeks, I think I was really good.
I'm really mad at you right now. I really want to be like, eat cock. Like I don't know how you feel about this, Albert. Like, no, seriously, Jared, I'm honestly pissed. Jared, it took me about 3 years.
Well, Jared, hear me out. Think about this. This guy's a guy who, look at his background, right? He's a competitive guy who had a background in acting and knew he needed this and had just had this external stimuli.
An immersion.
Yeah. And lastly, think about how things were taught in '08. It was so formulaic. It was so structured. It was do this. They didn't hand him social skills. They handed him a script. And they said, "Here, Kosmo, read this script.
Jealous.
Read this script in real time," which I think makes sense. So my counter to that, or my follow up to that question, to his question, which is what I wanted to ask earlier, was not when did you become great at the art of pickup artistry, which is what you guys called it back then. When did you feel like you became great as a coach, where you could help others and instill your insights? Like when did you? Because I always think about that. For me, like my coaching is interesting. When did you feel like you took off as a coach?
Brent took a boot camp from you early on. Took me about pink belts and
took me probably 6 years.
Okay, so that was more development. 6
or 7 years before I started really kicking in as a really good coach. That took me a long time to do that.
As a producer, do you see a difference in him as a coach when he coached you in your boot camp versus now? Like, it's a different, right? It's a different, because he experienced it. For those who don't know, Brent took a boot camp with you early on.
My rebuttal to Brent's experience was that if you take a kid from the ghetto, and you take a kid with massive, which I have had, childhood traumas, bad mom, all of the above, and you give him fame in less than 4 months, he everywhere I went, at least 20 to 30 people for a full year would walk up to me. If we went to Starbucks tomorrow morning after we go party tonight, you guys would have to sit down with me and people would continue to interrupt us. I had no idea how to deal with that. I feel like most human beings have no idea how to deal with fame. Brent's talking shit about the boot camp, but he met David Faustino, the kid from Home Alone. Was it Brent? Home Alone? What's his name? Jurassic Park. I mean, dude, we were filled with
it was crazy.
Like real life celebrities. Like this was like.
He was on TMZ. For those you don't know, Brent was on fucking TMZ just because he was at your boot camp.
Really? I didn't even know about this.
Oh yeah.
But shout out to like Topher Grace. I was a big fan of him in that '70s show. Like Topher Grace walks up to me at was the one that we went to, Brent, the Club Opera in Hollywood, and walked up to me. He's like, "Bro, I'm a big fan." I'm like, "What is going on right now?"
Wow.
I don't think it was the fact that I was a good or a bad coach, which I wasn't the greatest coach. I think it was fame. And actually, when I got out of the show, to answer your question, it took me 4 weeks to get really good. Here's what nobody talks about. They took away everything from us. So all that we were doing is learning how to talk to women, how to be more social.
Oh, so we had no email?
We had no phone. no TVs. We could have been in World War III. I wouldn't have known. There was nothing. We would wake up, my eyes open, there's a camera in front of my face. Are you ready to talk to 3 girls? I'm like, okay. This is all that we're doing.
That's full immersion, Jerry.
That's full immersion, 4 weeks with the pressure of, again, $50,000 on the line. It was, which, again, I never had more than $100 in my bank account. That was a lot of money for me back in the days, like 50 grand. So I think that's one component we don't talk about is full immersion.
Yeah.
And then we have to talk about one of our pioneers, one of the greatest that has invented this, Mystery, right? Like he was just really good and he's one of the most likable human beings I've ever met. I know I make fun of him a lot, but I love that guy. Like he is so likable and really, really understands. He really understands it. He does. But when I got out of the show, I felt I was really good. It took him 2 months to edit the show. When the show came out and then I became famous or whatever for a year, I got really bad again. Because I didn't know how to deal with that.
Wow.
So when girls would come up to me, I would still do an opener. An opener is like what you would do when you walk up to a girl. So the girls were fully attracted, and I'm like, hey, who do you think lies more, men or women? They're like, what? And I'm like, you guys seem like you're from the East Coast. They're like, I don't understand what's going on. These guys. So like I didn't know how to handle that. Like I just had to go into qualification because the girls were already into me.
But how do you know you're really good at that point versus you're just famous and girls just want you because you're famous?
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. When I got out of the show, I had a good 2 months.
And at 2 months, you saw
two months. I was going out 8 days a week.
Okay, wow.
I was going out
it's not good numbers, but
I was going out with anywhere and everywhere. I would be anywhere and talk to a girl. I was just obsessed with it. I was going out during the day, at night, like Monday through Monday. And for 2 months, I did very well. And I was like, wow, I got really good. And what was a big tell for me was my friends that have known me my whole life. When I got out of the show, I came back. They're like, what happened to you? Because I couldn't tell any of my family members where I went. No one had any idea where I went. So some of them thought I shot a film. Some thought I was going through like a retreat in India. Someone like they had no idea what happened. But when I came back, I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Because if the word got out, I would lose the 50 grand. So they were just like, bro, you seem so different.
Only you can relate to that.
I can totally relate with that. I can totally relate to that. Yeah. This is awesome that you're sharing this stuff with us, Kosmo, because it's so different. Do you ever feel like you can't remember what it was like to think the old way? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you ever feel like that old view feels so different that you can't even remember how the world...
The old Alvero, I guess?
Yeah. Do you understand?
I can empathize and I can understand where I was, but I cannot understand him.
It's hard for me to remember old Jared. It really is hard.
It's like watching TV before it was HD or like everything just looked different.
It's like, how were we so adjusted to regular standard TV for so long?
Yeah.
Because then now when high def comes in, if you watch standard TV, we're like, were we doing that for like 20 years? Like, were we really like watching?
Tell me this isn't a perfect analogy. It's like not resurrection. Reincarnation. It's like it was like a past life. Like it wasn't me.
Right.
Like I know it was me. I remember it, but it was like literally a past life. I feel like about the way people remember like reincarnation or like I was the Buddha or Gandhi back in the day or whatever. Like that's what it kind of feels like. I know I can empathize with it. My heart goes out to old Jarrett. I remember it, but I'm like, but that's not me.
I have a big, this is one of my small frustrations with this whole thing. I'm so grateful that all of us were able to go this journey and learn. But a frustration I have for me is when people think I'm lying to them, that I used to be the version of myself that I was. So people meet me.
So fucking annoying.
People meet me.
Albert's a natural, you know this.
Yeah, people meet me and they're like, "You were always like this."
I know. I
have a small pocket of friends that knew me when I was young, and I'm so thankful that I'm still friends with them. Because they can tell the stories for me of how inadequate I was. And do you share with that feeling where like somebody like meets you now and they're like, there's no way you were ever not like
Albert,
this.
stop lying. You're always semi-natural. Come on.
No, I was.
I was at your parents' house and I'm like asking your mom like where's video footage.
Oh,
you're, like,
yeah.
10 years, like 12 years old. So I'm like, I gotta see what
Yep. There's some.
She has old movies of
old
Jared.
movies of me in high school. I mean, did you see the picture of me with the lipstick? Like just from a picture. Tell me you can't tell just from that picture. I'm looking awkward as fuck. My body language is different. Yeah. I'm skinny, whatever. I got the mystery lip tattoo. Thing going on my neck. You can tell I'm just like, hi, guy. Yeah. Like my whole demeanor. You see the pictures we use in our marketing, the one where I'm like that, or like me in college. Like you can tell from Trent. Am I wrong? From the picture, you know, like this is a different Jared. Like,
does that ever like get to you when people say like, "There's no way you ever were that bad," or "You must have been really good at some point"?
Yeah,
and
I feel like that happened for the year when the show was out. It was a lot of that. It was like, tell me that the show was fake. Come on, just be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Yeah, I feel so bad because I think that was partly me because I think other guys in the community back then were like, you know, that shit was fake. He was some guy mystery trained secretly on the side, brought him on a show, fucking paid actor. He already had game, And I apologize because I mean at the time I didn't know you or anything. I kind of bought it. I was kind of like hating and just thinking, well, that makes sense. You know, you want a good show, why not bring in a ringer and Like
it probably feels like someone that made $10 million by themselves and built an empire and worked 80 hours a week, and then they make the money and go, "You're a hedge fund kid." Like that's probably how it feels, right?
That's
Like
what it's
someone
like,
that
yeah.
really
Brent's got a.
Or that you're good looking.
a, lo-
That's what my thing was.
a lot of it was like, oh well, you know, you're like, you know, Joe D was very overweight. We understand his situation, but you're an attractive Latin guy. Latinos should be able to talk to girls out of the womb. This show was fake.
I'm not gonna lie, that actually helped my rise to within this community industry. I don't know if you guys know this, but like it was kind of fucked up, honestly. I was like we talked earlier, I was passed around like a peace pipe amongst all these different coaching companies, and I was encouraged to stay fat. I was encouraged to stay the short, big-headed,
relatable
fat guy because it was like, bro, you're fat. You're literally obese. Like I was technically obese. Like not even recently. Even when I was in children with you, I'm obese. And it was like you showcasing, going out and cold approaching and doing stuff while being this obese guy. Kind of. I wasn't short. I'm like average height, 5'10", whatever. But like not 6 foot. Big-headed guy. Do the Jewish thing. They pushed me to like stay that way because it's like, this is great branding. This is awesome. Like, because if you can do it, they can do it, right? Versus being this good looking, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I get that. And honestly, from my business side, it's like, that makes a lot of fucking sense. But also, it's like, look, I've done that. I've tons of before. And I want Modern Flirting to be about being not just attractive, but being attractive. And I want our viewers to really understand, look, whether you are, you can resonate with my story of being either short or fat or the wrong ethnicity, or you resonate with my two, Cubano brothers over here. It doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, if you have anxiety and you don't have the skill set and you don't have it down, I don't give a fuck what your background is. It is worth learning and doing, and you can be the cool, tall, black Cuban guy, whatever, and you can still have problems. You can be the short, nerdy Jewish kid like me. You can have problems. But really what I want Modern Flirting to all be about, and I'm preaching, is it's not about just coming up with these pickup skills or these lines. It really is fuck everything else. Maximize everything. Make the money. Get in shape, be attractive, but more important than that, I mean, that's part of it, yes, but more important than that, build up the social circle. And this is what you didn't hint on this, but I was kind of waiting for you. You know when I blew up? When I really felt like I made it? I got into 2006.
Sorry, I got a cough.
Wow, way to fuck up the whole podcast. We were on such a roll, and of course, Kosmo has to cough at just the wrong moment. I was opening up. I was getting deep. Now,
apologize.
You're good. When I really felt like I made it, because I met you in like 2007, and we were good, but I don't think I was great until 2008. I don't feel I mastered it until 3 years later, about 2009. And the missing component was the social circle stuff. Like the moment I made it, Albert was there actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to say or no? You were there when I'm like, I mastered it.
When you went to my buddy's house in Kendall and we went to met the RD guys?
Nope.
Cruise? The RD cruise?
No, I wasn't on the RD cruise. You keep thinking I'm on the RD cruise. I wasn't there.
And I don't remember
that was a cool thing for you. Do you remember, Albert, being at the Delano was a picture of it. You brought the one girl out. We had all the girls. We got a free table. I've never had free. As a Jewish guy, I'm like, this is awesome. I had we had the free bottle, and I've got this magically. There was like a sun behind my head, so I look like Jesus. I've got a halo around. You remember this picture?
Yes.
I'll show you the picture where Albert's there with his girl. I brought all these other girls, like 2 other random guys I do back in the college days. I've got this halo around me. I'm at this table, and I'm like, I did that. I brought these girls out. I'm hooking up with, well, at that point, one of them. That was the moment in my mind. I'm like, I'm a master. It wasn't until then. Like even
those are early cool social circle days. Now that you think about that,
that was the only social circle.
Before we had a term for it. We just really
we did, I didn't. I'm just like,
let's just get a bunch of people together.
Let's just do it and see what happened. But even when I was Miami dating coach, even when I was coach with you, I'm like, I'm good, but I'm not great. Like I'm not like whatever. But then when I saw that picture and when we pulled off that caper. So I had to see Kosmo's face. Like Ocean's 11. No, but when we did that and I saw that
old
picture,
mentor used to say that a lot.
Yeah, it's like a cringe thing amongst us. But when I saw that picture and we pulled that off, I'm like, no. Like a lot of guys can go up and talk to girls and get a make out and maybe even get laid. But nah, man, no, like people can't do that.
Yeah, Cosmo, that I think that's why I wanted to know that question, because for me, like, that to me is interesting. It's like, because there's, for our side of the couch, right, there's 2 sides. We were students who became coaches, but you're always still as a coach learning, right?
Right.
And you're always still as a student, like, for us, we had to coach. Like for me, very shortly, becoming a coach actually made me so much better, because I learned to look at it from the outside, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, do this. And then like, it got me away from being gun shy and just understanding the proper move. And then I was just, when I was my turn to execute, I'm just like, execute. So that's kind of why I want to know that. Cause I have to ask you this. You're a great coach, unbelievably talented in a classroom, in field.
Literally one of the best. And like I said, I've been passed around like a peace pipe. I've seen the best. You're easily in my top 5, top 3. Like you're it. Like
you're at a different level of this. In order to maintain, in my opinion, anybody who's good at something at that level has to have passion and has to love it. Did you ever waver and feel like, because you have other things in your life like acting and other passions, did you ever feel like you were done with this world?
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. For 4 years, I barely did it.
You did disappear off the map for a while there.
For like 4 years, I barely did it.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I went against it. I would have, students text me. It's like, hey, I have $5,000. Can I train with you? I'm like, no. Like, I just didn't want to be a part of it.
Why was that?
Well, my films were doing really well. And I just didn't like all of the energy in the community and the coaches and all that, and I didn't want to collaborate with anyone. I just didn't trust them. I went away from it for a while, and that caused a decrease in my income, actually, because if I had a choice, the only thing I would ever do, and I tell Jared this all the time, is be an actor. It's my number one passion.
That's my biggest fear is he becomes an Oscar winner. I'm like, well, now I'm going to have to use fucking Russell from last boot camp. He's going to be my new Kosmo, your new Walking Vortex.
Yeah, no, I disappeared for a while. Yeah. And I didn't want to come back to it till, I started to get empowered by it again and started to feel refreshed. And now I feel like a virgin. I am so enthusiastic about the boot camps. I have a lot of energy. Jared constantly tells me, actually, and Brent too, they're like, bro, how do you always have that much energy? So I had to get my testosterone checked.
Yeah, it turned out it's 3,000.
They're like, is it that? Like, what's going on? And it's like, no, I have a passion for it. Like, I really do take it personal when I'm coaching and they're not growing. Like, I really do take it personal. But the thing that I found about myself right now is I just don't want to coach assholes anymore, or the guys who are doing it for the wrong reasons.
Sorry,
like,
Albert.
I just don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I'm done.
So what brought you back into it? What triggered that switch where you're like, I need to go back into this?
Needed to make money.
Okay.
Wow. So you just looked at the Jewish guys like, hey, can you hook up?
I needed to make money, and then just started to just answer my Facebook requests, and they're like, yeah, we'll do boot camp with you next week. And so I started to do the money, and I got back into it, and I'm like, I'm gonna change the way I coach, and I started doing it my own way, and I'm like, I like this.
Yeah,
it's good. And then started seeing like a lot of different things changing in technology and in people, and I was like, okay, I like this. And talking to my acting teachers and all that, they found it really cool. They're like, I feel like this is gonna make you a better actor. And it has, actually. And also too, regarding the question you asked me a while ago, I think I want to go back on that and not say what I said. I don't think I'm remotely close to being great. I think that next year in June, I'm going to be laughing at how bad I was right now. Have a really big growth mindset, and if I feel that I'm still this good next year, I'm losing. So I'm constantly trying to grow. When I see you talk, I've never seen you coach before like that. I'm like, man, that's pretty good. Jared dropped some new stuff. I'm like, man, I like that. So I'm a sponge, and I'm like, I want to keep growing.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Modern Flirting community that not I built, that we've built together, that we've all done. Because back in the day, I mean, you saw it back then when we were coaching before Kosmo came on board. The weird, creepy, just hard cases, random, and you saw it just from, not with us, but from back in the day, your own community. This last boot camp that we all did, I was looking at, Brent was talking about it too, like, holy shit, these are like cool, respectable, they've got, they're successful in their fields. These are like it's so different than what it used to be, and I feel like we're just going on such a good positive trend. And I want to thank you Kosmo, for like waking me up a little bit by being like, yo, we can't deal with these toxic people. Like even from a business point, like, get rid of them. Let's be more strict with it. Let's set these boundaries. And I can't agree, more with it, because when we give off that kind of energy, it's not about the cutting, it's about the attracting. We actually get the right kind of people, So I guess my last question,
one thing I wanted to chime in here too, because I think what he said was really powerful was, it's funny how sometimes, Cosmo, tell me if this relates to you guys, you think you're going for one goal or one motivator, but the actual destination is completely different. For me, when I started, I wanted to meet a lot of girls and pick up girls. But now that I'm sitting here, that wasn't my goal. You just said, I go, why did you get back into coaching? You said for the money. But I think you might follow the money originally, but then you discover that the real destination was different. It's this transformation in yourself, the effect you've had on others. And I think that's like what I see in the program in Modern Flirting is like, so many guys got into it for this one purpose. Even when you probably built it a couple of years ago and you asked me to come on as a partner, you had one vision, but I feel like your vision has changed and has, sharpened itself and become a better version. And I think that's such a true thing for anyone that's watching this, is like, you might think in your head, you need this, but once you embark on that journey, you discover things about yourself you didn't even understand, and you don't realize what you really needed out of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's it. No, yeah.
Hit the nail on the head.
Okay, sorry.
All right, well, I mean, enough said. That's drop the mic. Albert fucking did another one of his legendary cold reads. You're too good at it. You got to stop with these cold reads.
Cosmo motivates me, man. He makes me feel good and warms me up a little bit.
I got to learn how you guys do that. I got a soul reader. I got a fucking demon cold reader here. I got to learn what you guys are doing. I think it's a Latino thing at this point. I just don't got the gene for it. I'm trying to figure this out, but
you're the Godfather. Don't sell yourself short, bud.
I'm Papatin the Godfather. Yeah. So, what's your cold read on how many on likes we're gonna get on our Spotify? What is it, Brent? iTunes. How many likes do you think we're gonna get on this episode for iTunes?
69.
69. What do you think? How many likes can we get on our?
I'm gonna have to go with 69.
Okay, maybe a copy. All right, I'm gonna go for even 100. Right? If we get an even 100 of likes on our iTunes, tell both these guys can eat a cock. And if you're listening to this, hopefully you're gonna like our YouTube. Give us a comment. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, because I think all of us love the feedback. We were just talking about this earlier, actually, on the hike. We get such hate comments sometimes on TikToks, on YouTubes, whatever. I actually like it because I find it fucking hysterical. What was the one that you got where you're like, a good way to get over a breakup is to go to the gym more and do a gratitude journal.
3 new things to do.
And they're like That's stupid. You're dumb. Like what?
I'm all about having a conversation. If the person has enough energy to type in hate or dislike or like, it's still energy that you're putting out. And I'm curious to know why they thought that. They might be right, actually. I like the energy. I like the conversation. I'm never like they're wrong. I like it. But yeah, one of the videos that I put up, I just started a brand new IG, Coach Kosmo, and Coach Kosmo on TikTok.
It's already blowing up, by the way. Congrats.
Which brings me a lot of hesitation to be out there. I'm not a big computer person, but I put out a video that is basically like how to get over a breakup. Do like a 21-day challenge. Wake up every day at 5 a.m. Go to the gym. Start eating healthy and be active. Keep yourself active. And there was like a few comments where they're like, "Oh, that's bullshit. This will never work." I'm like, cool. Alrighty then. I felt like the video was so
obvious,
right? Like all I was saying was I feel that if you're feeling sad or depressed, action can really help you. Taking action on going to go do something, learn a new activity, and you'd be surprised. And Joe Rogan preaches this. I love that guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Being in the gym, if it was like a mandatory thing that everyone had to do every day, would solve so much mental health. It's incredible what that will do. As a human being, we are filled with what is our purpose? What do we have to do? Getting stuff done and going to the gym, you just feel really good after. So, I mean, that's what the video is about. But shout out to, even if we do get one like, I feel like we all feel the same way. There's a lot of gratitude on if we can change.
Shout out to our one like, our one fan.
Well,
thank
my
you.
mindset is like one person is enough for me, and if anyone else is on board, it's all good. And I love shooting a shit with you guys, chilling here and doing what we love right now. This doesn't feel like work.
Which, by the way, is the most impressive thing ever. I think there's no one in the world worse in technology than the three of us put together. I really can't, like, the fact that we have a podcast right now and that it's being seen on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or wherever the fuck, it is a goddamn miracle and a testament to just the fact that we could pretty much do anything.
When Jared gets in front of a laptop, it blows up.
All of it,
He sits down, he's like, laptop.
All right. We're going to wrap it up here, but thank you guys for listening so much. We appreciate every single one of you.